Hey, it's Pam from Ben McFuzzylugs, and today is the last day of March, so it's our last March Madness, our last tips video. We made it, so thank you so much for staying with me for this month. If you hear a little noise, Ben's down at the side of me and he's a bit excited. I haven't really involved him in any of the videos. Today I was going to show you a little trick with Ben. He was going to do a little demonstration about what I'm going to speak about, but unfortunately the weather turned absolutely revolting, far too wet for any kind of filming to go on, and so we've had to come inside and get dried off, and I'll just talk to you about this one, but hopefully in future I will be able to film it and let you see it. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is shaping and free shaping, which I think is the most fun way of training your dog there is. So what it is, free shaping is, it's the laziest training method. It's so much fun. You just start out with no idea at all what you want your dog to do, and all I do, it's easiest with a clicker or using a voice click word. I just say yes really happily, really kind of crisp voice, and you just mark every single different behaviour that your dog does. It's as simple as that. Once the dogs start to learn the game, then they start to offer different behaviours. They start to offer bits of tricks, or maybe repeat the bit that they were doing before, and you just reward every time they do something different. I find to keep the game exciting, what I do when I reward the dog, I just throw the treat rather than give it to them, so they've got to race off and then come back to you. And that can be good at the beginning because you can even be clicking for the coming back to you. You can click if they come back to you and then sit, come back to you and then sit and lie down, and it gives them an idea. Here he goes. Ben's having a wee scratch. It gives them an idea that just doing stuff gets the reward. I also, now not everyone does this, but I make it clear that they're playing the game. I use the command do something to mean literally do something with free shaping, so they understand that this is the time to throw shapes at me, because I don't want it all the time. When you're sitting ignoring your dog, you don't really want them throwing all the tricks in the book at you. Now, initially, to start with Ben, to get him to do this, it was pretty tricky because I had learnt more luring methods with him. That's how I'd been taught. So I'd get the treat bag out and be sitting there with the clicker, and he would sit there ever so patiently waiting for me to tell him what to do. And for him to have to think for himself and to offer some behaviours was quite a new thing. And so what I did there was I did free shaping with a box, well, with an object, which is just basically put any kind of object down and then reward for any kind of interaction with. It's gonna be one of those days. Okay, so I'd put like a box down, and then being a dog, they'd go off and have a look at it. So I'd just reward any interaction with the box. I had no specific plan in mind for what I wanted him to do. I just rewarded anything that was different from the last time he did something. And that's great fun. It's a fab way to spend like 2 minutes training when you're in an ad break of a film or something and you haven't got anything you can think of you want to do. Just let the dog choose themselves. And then what you can do if they do start to do something that you like and seems a little bit cute. For instance, one time Ben went to scratch his tummy with his back paw, and as his foot came up I just clicked for that, and I thought, oh, that could be a kind of fun trick to have. So he offered it again to see, is this what's working? So I clicked again for that, and then he offered again, and he starts, and then I waited out until he lifted his paw a bit higher. So that's moving on from free shaping to shaping. I was shaping him to lift up his paw, and that is, shaping is just simply, you have an idea of the final trick in mind and you think of the steps that are needed to take it. So for instance, the picking up the paw, that would be lifting the paw ever so slightly and then reward for lifting the paw slightly further, lifting the paw slightly further. Perhaps if you're wanting to pretend they're peeing as part of a trick or something, you could, then your next step would be for the leg to go out slightly. It's just, rather than trying to get the entire trick in one go, you think of the small steps that can take place to get towards the trick. It's a great way to get far more complex behaviours than just your basic sit, and it's also a good one to help them use their brain without you having to guide them. They actually learn it really faster. The first trick, as it were, that I free shaped was him to run and lie down on a mat, and literally all you do with that is I had a mat and I held it up, got it really exciting for him, and then put it down, rewarded any kind of interaction with the mat, and threw the treat away from the mat, so he had to run towards the mat to get it. And then once he got on the mat, just clicking and treating for him being on the mat, and then wait for a little while and see if he offers a sit, reward that, and then wait and see if he offers a down, and then really jackpot that, because that was the final behaviour I wanted. Jackpot on the mat a few times and then throw the treat away and see if he'll offer it again. And basically they tend to, when they figure out what it is, they'll come racing over and slam into a down on the mat much quicker than if you'd have taught them by any other method. They just enjoy it so much. So like I say, I will at some point make a video of showing you what I mean by all this shaping and free shaping. I would also advise have a wee search on YouTube for videos like 101 Things to Do with the Box that give you fantastic examples of shaping and free shaping. It's great fun. Now, thank you so much for being with me. This has been a blast of a month. I will be filming more demonstrations, how-tos, dog tricks and dog training over the coming months, but not every single day. But if you're interested, hit subscribe. I'll also still be doing my Thursday needle felting tutorials. And for next month, I have a little surprise for everyone who's following for their Etsy shop tips. We've got a wee challenge for that, so if you're interested in that, please join me. In the next couple of days I'll have that challenge video up. So thank you for joining me. This has been a fun month. I hope you've learnt some things. I've learnt some things too. And hit the like, hit the subscribe, and please feel free to keep coming back. Cheers.